Hello. Can you
Hello,
hear me?
Rose.
Hi, how are you?
How is it going?
It's going good. It's going good. How about you?
Thank you so much.
Yes. I think you're a new student on Cambly, right?
Yeah, I think this is the first time to come to Cambly, and I'm trying to use. So, if it is an effective way to talk with speakers, just to improve English, so I'm going to stick to it in the future.
hmm Sorry, I have the flu.
Okay.
For
I
for
hope.
speaking, yeah, I'm fine.
Yes.
For speaking, definitely.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
that's your goal, yeah.
Yes. I'm working here in Egypt as a teacher of English for many years. But I was promoted to be a supervisor. And as you know, it's very hard here to speak to people like native speakers or
hmm
people who are qualified enough just to talk with you in English. So this is our problem here. So I'm trying to use this program to talk to people like you.
hmm hmm I understand. So for somebody who already, has studied grammar and
Hmm.
knows a lot of vocabulary, it works quite well because
Yeah,
a lot of students learn passively by they care and they're watching movies and they're reading books
yeah.
and they're memorizing grammar and
Hmm.
vocabulary, but because they're not using the language, so
Yes,
they don't
that's
get their
right.
confidence.
I think it's from one way, just watching movies, just listening to broadcasting or channels on TV. I think this is only one way, and it's not effective any way. So trying to communicate, talk to people, listen to them, I think this is going to improve your ability to listen well and to speak in a good
Mhm.
manner. Yes.
hmm Sure. I mean, I always tell my students, not only the time you spend with your tutor on Cambly, but the self-study you
Hmm.
do is also helpful to keep exposing yourself to English and learning in
Yeah.
different ways. I think it's
Yeah.
useful, but if they don't practice it and they're not active in the learning process, then it's really hard for them to become fluent. And they need to get that feedback from the tutor about how
Mm.
they're using the
That's right.
vocabulary, what
Yeah.
grammar they're consistently making mistakes with.
Hmm. Yeah, I think real life English or any language, it should be practiced in real life because you cannot find any language just between the lines in any books or in a text or something like that. So trying to speak,
hmm
listening, discussing ideas, exchange information, I think this is going to give a push for anyone to go on. Yes.
hmm Sure. And another good thing about Cambly is compared to signing up for a course in a language school where they always have the same tutor, which is good. I encourage students to make relationships with two or three
Hmm.
different tutors on Cambly. I say two or three because your tutor may go on vacation, they may get sick, they may
Hmm.
find another job opportunity and stop working on Cambly.
Yes.
So having a relationship with a few tutors that know the student and can work with them long term is good. But
Yeah.
also another reason to have a few tutors is
Mm.
to expose yourself to
Mm.
different tutors from different countries or different parts of the same country speak a little bit
Mm.
differently.
Yes,
So getting comfortable with
yeah, yeah. I have a question for you because, as I said before, I'm a supervisor. I'm just visiting teachers in different schools, primary schools. They are teaching kids. They are complaining from the kids. They cannot go on with them. They cannot speak the language, and I think there are many different reasons for this. For this problem that the atmosphere outside the school is not speaking the language. They don't use English because here our Arabic. So the question is
Mhm.
how to convince these kids and how to give them the chance to practice English outside the school, if it is possible. How your experience, if you have any suggestion for this.
This is true that it's a bit of a challenge because I think that people in very large cities can be exposed to lots of foreigners and have more opportunity to practice their language skills. But depending on where you live and which city and what you do in life, young children, their parents don't just let them talk to anybody new. So they don't get the opportunity. And there's a couple of things I can recommend depending on the age of the student. Like if it's a university student, and especially in certain cities where there are a lot of foreigners living around them, but they don't know how to approach them and make friends with them. Or if they live abroad, but they say, I only hang out with people from my own country, I don't know how to meet the locals, then I recommend to use something like meetup.com to find people who have your similar interest in the city that you live in. It is international, but not every city has active communities. Finding people in your community to meet up with, and then you can use your English with them. Cambly is good. I do get phone calls from like every age group, even from very, very young students, actually, usually with their parents nearby supervising. It can be difficult. For how old are the students in your school?
Yes, I'm talking about the kids between 10 years, between 10 years and maybe 14 years. They are kids.
Yes. They're still very young to be independent, to go out there and meet people on their own.
No, it's very hard for them.
No, and I don't approve of certain schools.
Yes. Let me paraphrase my question again. I'm saying that most of the teachers who are teaching inside these schools, primary, they are complaining from the progress of the kids. They cannot use the language in a good manner. They cannot talk to each other in English. The vocabulary well, because the first language influential is very clear. So how can we get rid of the first language just to use English language?
One thing is, are those teachers teaching in Arabic, explaining English in Arabic, encouraging the students to translate between the languages? Or are they teaching purely in English? This is an English environment. When you come into my classroom, we don't think in Arabic. We don't talk to each other in Arabic. In this classroom, I don't want to hear Arabic. So yes, because this never encourages them to fully switch over to learn to think. They're always a little bit like filtering it through the other language. That's one obstacle. Unless those teachers are committed themselves to providing an English-speaking environment. And then putting the students in groups and allowing them to talk about all different kinds of topics children are interested in, video games and things, whatever they like, as long as they're speaking English.
It's okay
and
with
circulating
them.
and monitoring that they don't switch back. Yeah, as long as they're speaking, I tell them, whatever you want to say, just say it in English, please. And monitoring and letting them, just giving them the opportunity to express themselves and not just memorize and pass the test.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea to do it. Yes, it's a good idea to do it inside the classroom. Most of the teachers, they are trying to use pure English from the first minute to the last minute of the period. But sometimes it's very hard for all the students because they are belonging to different levels. So it's very hard to use pure English. So sometimes they mix between the first language and the English language just to make it effective and they can communicate easily.
You know, I understand this because I've been living abroad for 18 years and I've been teaching English for 15 of those years. And it's really hard for me as a foreigner that they put me in a classroom with young people who don't speak my language well, and I have to educate them. And the community, this is very hard for a foreigner. You know, it can lead to discipline problems, not because the children are rebellious or they don't like you,
Hmm.
they don't understand what you want them to
Yes.
do. So I have to develop a lot of strategies for how to make things clear and easy and simple
Mm.
for the students. And but this is one advantage of having a native speaker from abroad come in. The students can't talk to me. They
Mm.
don't have the
Mm.
opportunity because we
Yes.
can't speak each other's language. They have to speak English. There is no choice. Of course,
Yes.
between each other, they want to
Mm.
switch around, but with me, they can't. So I know it's extremely challenging. I had a very
Yes,
difficult
it's a
time
challenge, yes.
working in a classroom environment when everybody's at a different level and
Mm-hmm.
differentiation. I don't want my advanced students to be bored. I don't want
Mm.
my other students to feel
Mm.
frustrated. It's very hard, I know.
Okay, Rose,
It's
I would like
I think
to,
that's why.
yes, yeah, thank you so much for these recommendations. And I'm afraid I have to go now because it's 1 in the morning. It is 1 a.m. in the morning here in Egypt.
Yeah.
So we have to go to work tomorrow. And I
Okay.
hope to talk to you again, inshallah.
Okay. Thank you for calling
Thank
and
you
have a
so
good night.
much.
Take care.
Good. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.